Matt, you okay? You okay, Matt?
All right, guys, we have the star of the show here, Matt, in a video. This is 2 days after the wreck here with the Bad Apple, and like I said in the previous video, we are going to use this incident as a learning opportunity for not only us here at LS Nasty, but for you guys at home. We have a bunch of amazing sponsors and companies that we work with. We've really lately just been starting to get involved with the companies that do safety. Unfortunately, in drag racing, safety seems to come last. Actually, a lot of motorsports, safety seems to come last, and we're trying to change that. A lot of these motorsports, the communities are very reactive, just kind of like we're doing now, where someone gets in a bad wreck and then everyone's like, oh, we got to improve on our safety gear. So we're going to try to change that and make it where we're a little bit more proactive. We've been making some steps with some of our other builds, being more proactive, you know, spending a little bit more money on safety, which in the big picture is like a drop in the bucket. But this right here is very eye-opening. So for those guys that don't know, Bad Apple here was involved in a wreck. Matt was driving it at Rockingham Dragway. Wreck happened before 300 feet, but it was a very, very, very hard side impact on the driver's side. So Matt remembers some of it, a little bit of it.
A little bit.
So the car went out there, left, right, got to the center line, and then it just, the ass came around, it was going towards the wall, and then right before it hit the wall, it whipped back around, and that's what was like the multiplier. So we do these giveaway multipliers, they're good. These wrecking multipliers, they're bad. And then after that, loud bang for him, and then everyone else watches it go left wall, he's out, car goes all the way back and hits the right wall. You were out for probably 30 seconds until BJ and them got up there to you.
Yeah, I thought I climbed out, but apparently I didn't, so I don't really remember much. It was the amount of force. I can't explain it, and I couldn't tell you. Just like if you go real fast in the 60 foot, you can't explain to somebody like what a 102 60 foot feels like. They just have to experience it to go, damn. And the impact, after the impact, like everything, I mean, it was rough. I mean, I've been knocked out before, but that was rough. I mean, it very eye-opening. After that, if I was ever building a car, I would rather go 650s in the 8th and have every single bit of safety gear and not have any money in the motor or transmission or rear end than going, you know what, I could save a little bit here, save a little bit there. Because even though this is a really fast car, the impact was fast, but honestly, any car, we could have been out there in that car and had the same stuff.
It could have wrecked literally. It almost did at Fayetteville the same way. I assume at the time you were probably going between 80 and 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, so not super fast, just like John said.
I've out-wrecked this at the top end of Fayetteville the same way. Something happened with the rear end, bar was left loose, and it went to the center line, and then it heads towards the wall. I got lucky, and it had power brakes, and just locked up all four as soon as you touched it, and I didn't hit the wall. But if I wrecked this car just like Matt did, same speed, just different spot at the racetrack, I wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah.
I was in there stock seat lap belt with a helmet on, no Hans. I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, the deceleration force is just unbelievable. You know, if it got stuffed in the front end, or you know, the rear end, if it slid backwards or something like that, even though it doesn't seem like much, just that little bit of crumple zone would really slow the deceleration down. When it broadsides like that, I mean, you guys, I don't know if you can see it on the video, but it's unbelievable how flat the side of the car is. And it's not like it drove down the wall for, you know, 200 feet. Like, it bounced off the wall one time and it completely flat inside of this car. Firewall got mushed in. I mean, this got a lot of chassis too.
That's what people don't understand. I mean, this is a well-built car. I mean, it was, in order to have a car that goes as fast as this does, you know, it's got to be solid, and this is a solid car. So I think that and we talked about it with the Race Tech seat. This had a Kirky seat in there. The downside to the Kirky seat is, one, it's just an aluminum bucket, and then you got a little bit of padding. I don't know how many of you guys at home are building race cars or have race cars or seen a Kirky seat, but they're not visually impressive, but they're the norm. I mean, we put one in the Pro Mod because they're 120 bucks, and I got them laying everywhere around here, and you just go, here, drill a hole and bolt it in.
And I think maybe for certain style impacts, you would be safe
with a Kirky
seat, but there's, like that impact, you know, the seat's not designed for sideways, it's designed for this way.
But you don't know how you're going to wreck.
Yeah, you don't. That's the thing about the Race Tech, is you're fully contained in all sides. So
the first thing that Matt said to me when we got to the hospital was, if I was in a Race Tech seat, I probably wouldn't be feeling like this.
No, yeah, I 100% feel that if I was in a better containment seat, I don't think I would have been knocked out, because if you grab the helmet.
Yeah, we'll go over that in a second. Matt, he ended up banging his head off the cage and off of a bracket on the cage. The Race Tech seats have built in the head containment, pretty good shoulder bolstering, and then just the seat itself, if you sit in one, you can't compare it to a Kirky seat. You just feel so much safer. This seat actually laid over, the force of impact was so hard, and the seat, it's a 17-inch hip width seat. I'm 190 pounds. You were driving the car last. Matt's a whole lot skinnier than I am. You probably had a little bit of movement side to side on that guy, and any movement in the seat is not good. Your spleen's not too happy with you because of that.
Yeah, no, lacerated spleen. They thought they were gonna have to remove it. A lot of intercostal rib tears. Banged my knee up pretty good on the X bar. Unbelievably, my wrist and everything are fine. The steering wheel's all bent up.
Yeah, here's the steering wheel. Here is I don't know if you can tell from like the top angle, but I mean, this is a solid quarter max aluminum steering wheel, and it is not happy.
Yeah, pedals are bent over, and there's,
I mean, it's just a crazy force. So, you know, this car here, we've had the car for a little while. When we got it, it sat, safety-wise, it hasn't changed one bit. I guess that's where we kind of dropped the ball. The car is safe, but you have to build them for a worst-case scenario impact. Well, here, let's go over here, David, real quick. Matt's just going to chill out here for a second here. He has no choice. You guys have seen Kirky seats before. I'm not talking shit on Kirky seats by any means. I have two in my street car. I think they're great for the street car stuff, but if we're talking about, you know, a badass seat where you're building a badass race car, this right here is what you need. This is a Race Tech 119. We have a couple different of their series seats in here. We're actually going to be putting one of these seats in all of our race cars. As you can see, the hip bolstering on it is very serious. The shoulder bolstering, very serious. The head containment, very serious. This thing right here is the only thing that you are strapped to when you're in the car. So, you go on their website, you'll get their $1,000 seat, $2,000 seat, $3,000 seat, $5,000 seat. Compare that to a hospital bill, it's a drop in the bucket. You got to look at it that way. If you got a $10,000 bill at intake and you got a Kirky seat, you might need to reevaluate what you got going on. If you got a $5,000 turbo and a $137 Jegs Kirky seat because you're saving a little bit more money, you really need to reevaluate. We're guilty of it. I'm not talking shit to any of you guys. That's how it is. If you go around here, we'll go over here to the Red Lobster, and we've been running the car. There's nothing wrong with the seat. It's, at the end of the day, it's your decision to get in the car and race it. You got to feel comfortable in it. If you are comfortable with just a Kirky seat, then do it. But I'm telling you here, from our experience, especially after this, no head containment, seat bolstering, not all that much. there's room for improvement there. It's just how it is. It sucks that you have to learn this way, because it would have been way easier for us to be just like, hey, and we knew better too, that the Kirky seat's not the safest seat out there, and you know, we work with Race Tech and all that, so it is our own fault there. But like I said, I mean, you live and you learn. It's worth every penny to have good safety system, good belts, good seat. If you're not going to have a seat that's got head containment, put padding on the roll bars. Make sure that it's braced properly. Make sure it's mounted properly, because when it goes bad, you don't know how bad it's going to go, and if it goes really bad, you're going to wish that you had your shit together a little bit more. So we'll go back over here. We'll look at the bad apple some.
If it was any seat, you know, if it was some shit off Alibaba, I would be saying, hey, buy it. But I honestly think the Race Tech seat's probably the best seat for this. And even if you put it, if you had a car like this, even if you didn't have a cage, at least put a Race Tech seating or something in there, because I'm telling you, like, if you had an impact like that, you're going to wish. I would have said, hey, I'll save up for a whole entire year if that's what I got to do to buy a seat, because that was no fun at all. And like I said, you know, get knocked out, I'm pretty confident that, I mean, it was a very hard hit, but my spleen, my ribs, well, I would have been in a whole lot better shape, and I don't think I would have got knocked out, because you have your head containment, you know, a lot of deceleration right there. You can't move. Like that thing, I went all the way over until I hit the cage, and then, man, it, night.
All right, come look at this. And again, not talking smack on Kirky seats. I like them. I put them in my street cars. I drive around with them. The seat here, this is all that a Kirky seat is. If you look here, the weld is broken all down here, and this is laid over. And it's actually, this is the mount right here. So not only, that shows you how hard of a hit it is. The seat had the support of the mount. It's a bar that comes up here, a big tab, and welds to it. The tab itself is bent over. All of this seat back here is all twisted up, and you can see where it's pulled out from the belt going this way. The seat actually folded forward. Now, look at this. Look at how stressed it is around the bolt hole. Pulled one of the bolts out. If this seat didn't have back bracing on there, which you have to do on all of your Kirky seats, or really any seat, especially a sheet metal seat that's not going to provide a lot of support, you need to have secondary back brace, and you can't just mount it to the floor, because there could have been a chance that, you know, if it was that bad, this seat would have been laid up out the window with him strapped to the seat. I mean, this is the only thing that is strapping you to the car. His helmet here, if you look at this, it's got a gnarly gouge in it.
I mean, you literally see the slit.
Yeah, it's got a gnarly gouge. So this is a tab for a window net. So the back of it goes in here, the front of it clips in there. He came with a seating position. You're not far off of it. I think we've all mentioned something riding in this car that, damn, you're pretty close to the cage. Yep. Well, you don't want to be able to touch the cage with your head, and this is all bent up here. It's crazy that your head bent the bracket, but this right here could have been deadly. So we definitely got lucky. Matt was wearing all of his safety gear. He had good safety gear and was able to keep him safe, and for the most part intact.
Yep. That was yeah, there's some stuff that, you know, after experiencing that, there's some stuff that I want to try to change, want to try to do. Make sure everything's, like, we've always been good about securing stuff, but now I think I'm gonna try to go to a whole new level of trying to secure something, just like the battery. Like, you know, that battery mount was in there. Like, it wasn't like we just sheet metal screwed it down there, but it ripped the battery straight out of the mount.
I know, and a lot of the cars were sitting next to the battery. So battery's what, 40, 50 pounds. That comes out and goes over there and hits you. Like, yeah, it's just unnecessary to get double tapped.
Yeah, killed by a battery. You know, there's that. You know, making sure that just like the window tab, like, don't have anything protruding to the inside of the cage. Make sure it's to the outside, or, you know, at least down to where you can't contact it, because there's just, like I said, there's no way to explain how hard the force is going to be, especially on a side impact like that. I'm really fortunate. You know, it could have been better, I think, with some different safety gear, but I'm fortunate that I did have all my gear on. And it really scares me because, like I said, this wasn't like, we're doing 200 mile an hour out the back, and any car can go 100 mile an hour down the track, and if the car gets loose, I mean, any car could have that same style impact
anywhere on the racetrack.
Anywhere on the racetrack. You could be driving a 580 car and have that impact at the top end of the track going 120. It gets loose, it comes back and it slaps the wall. And obviously in those cars, a lot of those guys, they might have just a lap belt and
a helmet.
Helmet, and no Hans. The Hans probably definitely help because it also reduces the ability for your helmet to move to some side to side. So that definitely helped. The way it's strapped in the seat. So, man, I'm telling you, like, you never know what kind of wreck you're going to be in. You always hope that you're going to get in maybe a front end wreck or a rear end or something. But those broadside wrecks.
And this was an all steel, all glass car, so you got to think. All our cars with the fiberglass front ends and fiberglass doors, they're just solely there for appearance. They provide zero safety. They don't do anything. You might as well go down track without them on there. So these metal doors and everything, they definitely soaked up a lot of the blow. But I mean, it's crazy the force.
Yeah, bent the door X bars over there. These door X bars got bent. The firewall is like 4 inches narrower now. It's unbelievable how the amount of force that. Just make sure everything's secured. Make sure you got a good seat. Like I said, John went over the seat, and I feel like a containment seat that would fit you very tight. Like when you get in there, like, man, I try to tighten my belts as tight as I can, but now like I'm gonna be having somebody else tighten them as tight as they can to where it's uncomfortable in the car.
Yeah, see, I have Marcus. Generally, he'll tighten my belts up for me because you can only get them so tight, and having your belts too tight is not going to hurt you.
Yeah. So if you're a smaller guy like me, you know that the Kirkies don't really like where everything goes in there. Even though if you tighten the belts down as tight as they'll go, it still doesn't really fit your body profile. They're meant to it's a one size fits all pretty much. Even if you get a narrower one, the Race Tech I feel like is better suited for smaller guys too, as well as larger guys.
Well, they make them in big and tall and standard and narrow.
Yeah, it's custom fit. It's like a pair of shoes. Like, hey, you've got a pair of shoes here. You're sure you can put them on, but it's probably not going to fit you. We can, it's like sort of slides. Like, sure, you can go from a size 6 to a size 12, and it'll fit everything, but it doesn't mean it's right. So, if you can take anything away from it, just please spend as much as you can on the safe stuff. Don't skimp, because I've done it in the past. I'm not saying that I'm not guilty of it. There's been times where, everybody's got a budget and they might spend a bunch of money on their motor or their transmission or their rear end or their shocks or, whatever else because they want to go fast. But, they go, oh, well, I got a, $150 seat or this or that or this helmet or no Hans device. All those things will never, ever, ever, ever cross your mind after you get in a wreck. The only thing you're going to cross your mind is, I wish I would have spent more, or I'm glad I spent as much as I did.
It's better to have it and not need it than not have it and need it.
Yep,
you have no idea.
People say me, I drive a bunch of stuff. I drive a bunch of stuff on methanol, and then I drive a bunch of stuff on gasoline and E85. And they're like, man, why are you wearing that big fire suit? Because I got like a multi-layer fire suit, but I wear my SFI 20 suit all the time. They're like, why are you wearing that all the time? And I'm like, well, imagine fire's fire. I don't care if it's methanol or gas or a wood fire.
Yeah.
If I'm on fire, how stupid would it be for me to be burning up in a car and have my badass fire suit in the trailer? You just wear the stuff. It might be uncomfortable, and I think the issue is it's just kind of like it's not cool because it's like you get the one guy that's badass with an open face helmet with a motorcycle helmet and cut off sleeves going fast.
Guys,
that's not cool.
Jean shorts.
That's not cool. Like people think that's cool. Like it's not cool to wear your safety gear. It's not cool not to wear it. It's just something that you have to do.
Yeah, wear it. Yeah, I don't care. I'm in the fire suit stuff. Think about this: that door, you're not opening it. The window's, of course, gone. But over here, if it would have slapped harder on this side, this door might not open. They might not have been able to get me out. I was out. I couldn't. There's no way that I was getting out on my own. And if this thing was on fire.
You were in there until somebody could get you out.
Or until the fire got put out. or until they cut the roof off the car or something. So
you know, fire suppression system, like we had it, but you know, honestly, if the car was on fire, I wouldn't be able to turn it off. If the car didn't shut off, I wouldn't have been able to turn the car off. You know, that's one of the things that really scared me afterwards is that, you know, that broadside impact, you know, if the throttle would have hung and it wouldn't have steered to the right and just would have rode down the wall and my foot got hung up on the throttle, I'd have been along for the ride. There's no way, like, it wasn't like a, oh, I'm kind of out of it. I was out, like 100%. So, you know, I'm going to look into, there's a lot of things that I've tried to do in the past, but I'm going to really look into doing it with the future, with the VPS and everything. And I'm going to try to really set up some safety, like deceleration, that will turn the car off in case there's a large deceleration. Like anything over 4G, then it just shuts the car off until you cycle the key. That way, if, you know, we're in a car and it has a broadside, or if it hits, you know, the wall, or some scenario where one of us is knocked out, the car's not just going to go keep on trucking.
Yeah, that mechanical fuel pump, 16 gallons a minute, 1 second, the whole fuel cell, if it's full, is gone. It's dumped out everywhere.
Yeah.
Now you got a 4 gallon methanol fire. So it is definitely something that you don't want to mess around with. And it is, like I said before, I mean, use this as a learning opportunity for everyone. Take the time, take a day, reevaluate the safety in your car, in your racing operation, and everything you guys do, because when it happens, it's going to be ugly. This is a safe car. Matt was wearing all of his gear. There was some room for improvement, but overall, I mean, everything did its job. And I think if we had to do this again and we had the other stuff in there, Matt be feeling a whole lot better.
Yeah, the car would probably be looking a lot better too. You know, I probably would have been able to keep it off the other wall. I just want to take the time to really thank everybody that's reached out. I've had people, so many people, like, it's unbelievable the amount of people that reached out and asked if I need anything or made sure I was okay, all the fans. I really appreciate that. You know, go out here, cars are fast, stuff happens. I love this car. I didn't want to see it wrecked, and I sure didn't want to wreck it. But I think, you know, I'm thankful for the LS Nasty team. I feel like, you know, we're a lot more than a team. We're a family. You know, BJ, Mark, saw them. They had a better 60 foot than the car did. They were there, ready to do whatever they needed to do to help me. And I really can't thank anybody, you know, enough for everything they do. So I really appreciate it. I guess that's part of racing. You kind of find your family, and I'm thankful that I'm here. I'm thankful that I can continue to race, and I'm thankful that I'm here to tell you everything I can to try to help you to where you can continue to race if you ever have an accident. So, you know, don't skimp on the safety stuff at all.
And I'm happy Matt's still here, because now that he can't defend himself, I can whoop his ass with no repercussions. So if you guys feel like sending anything here, Matt's gonna be hanging out here at the shop because we're keeping an eye on him, just making sure in case he needs anything. Our address is down in the description below. Matt's a big candy guy, loves his Sour Patch Kids and all that shit. So if you guys feel like sending anything here to the shop, the address is down there. We'll make sure it gets to Matt. We'll open it up on camera and everything. Amazing support from all of the LS Nasty fans out there that watch the channel, so I couldn't thank you guys enough. It's great to see the support. It's a shitty situation, part of racing. We understand the risk every time we go out there. That's part of it. That's part of the thrill. I think maybe that's part of the reason why some people watch. So part of the reason why some people race is to ride that fine line, be on the edge. So we're just going to use this as a learning opportunity, go forward, keep our head down, keep plugging away, and get stuff knocked out. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like always, comment, like, subscribe. Go down there, click that subscribe button, and we're going to pull everything out of this car, and I don't know what we're going to do with it. We might put it on display or put it on the roof, or, you know, throw it out back and see what happens with it. But
Danny Duncan just put it on the roof.
Yeah, we could put it on the roof.
City Erwin would be like,
what are you doing? All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. We'll see you guys in tomorrow's upload.